Hey guys, it's Jonah here, head gardener, and it's been a while since we've done a CoHop update, but a lot of people's hoppage is beginning to break through. So let's have a look at what people have done, and then we're going to talk about the most important thing, or one of the most important things we can do for our hops, that is giving them some food and also giving them water. Okay, first we're going to have a look at mine, and this one is my little Fuggle hop. Isn't she a beauty? And I've been waiting blooming ages for that one to come out. I was getting a bit worried because if we have a look at this second photo, this is last year's wild hop that I cultivated. Look at that bad boy go. I've definitely got about 6 or 7 shoots all coming off. Once they get a bit bigger, I'm definitely going to have to cut them back a bit. And here we've got a good example from Dominic Fernandez, good old Dom. And for those of you that can't read upside down, that says Cascade. Now I'm not going to go through everyone's, just some weird ones. And Brooklyn Pete, he tried something different. Have a look at this photo. And you can see that he started this hop plant off indoors in a pot, and then he's transferred it to the outside, and you can see he's got a huge head start on everyone else. The only thing I'd be worried about there, Pete, is hopefully we don't get any more frosts, because you're in a little bit of danger of it falling over. But hey, we'll see what happens, Pete. And of course we've got those guys that are with us from the southern hemisphere. This one is Mick Park. Have a look at that absolute crazy bush. And don't forget New Zealand as well, because we've got our good old friend Grant Baker. Look at that, right up onto his decking. And this is what it looked like once they budded out. Look at those hop cones. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so we've got some really great guys on board for the CoHop. It's absolutely fantastic. I know we've got some other pictures from some other growers, but those ones were the ones either that stood out or were just absolutely crazy and ridiculous. Got Fred Tice, he's up in the ground. Norfolk Hillbillies is just coming up. New to Homebrew Tom. We got loads and loads of people interested. Now, the main point of this video is our little shoots are beginning to sprout. So what should we be doing? Well, now is the time we think about feeding them, okay? And when you think about plant food, you've got to think, are they in containers like I'm doing, like some other people are doing, or are they actually in the ground, okay? People who do organic farming or organic growing, you start thinking about horse manure, stuff like that, even bone meal, even though that's processed a little bit. But mainly what we want to be doing at this time of year is either using a multi fertilizer like Miracle Grow or something like that. There are other ones available, but specifically we need to think about 3 things, okay? Nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus or phosphates, yeah? At the very start, when we're growing, nitrogen is the one we're interested in. So if you can pick up a fertilizer that's really heavy in nitrogen, and bone meal or fish, ground up fish bones or blood meal, or something along those lines. Horse manure's a really good one, okay? Absolutely fantastic. And make sure you follow the instructions on the box. But we want a fertilizer that's slightly heavier in nitrogen to start with. So basically our hops grow really strong. They make really big leaves, because when the sun comes out, those leaves are going to flood the hop with all the goodness it needs. Okay. Later on in the growing season, we need to worry a little bit more about potassium-based fertilizers. Okay. Have a look at this picture that I had from last year. So in this picture you can see the little baby hops are just starting to form. They're called burrs, and they're really small and spiky, but they're going to form into our hops. And when they start coming out, we need fertilizer, or we need to swap fertilizer to one that's more heavy in potassium, so we can form big juicy hops like these. So about halfway through the season, we're going to change fertilizers. So there we go, talking about feeding our hops, which is something we really need to all start doing now. The other thing we're thinking about is watering, but especially in springtime, we do get quite a lot of rain, or we do in the UK. If you notice your plant going a little bit droopy, going a little bit yellow, then you probably need to give them a bit of water. Yeah, we don't want really sodden, sludgy earth. But we don't want a really baked, dry soil either. So regular watering, maybe this time of year. If it hasn't rained, we're definitely thinking maybe a couple of times a week. If it does rain, you should be doing your feeding should be enough, especially if you're using a liquid-based food, because you've got to mix that in with your water anyway. The last thing we need to consider, and this is going to be the last thing in this video because it's getting a little bit long now, is how are we going to support our plants? At the beginning, canes and bamboo and stuff like that are really good, but it's really the time to think about doing your stringing, or definitely doing some kind of trellis. Okay, so something to think about. We're definitely going to cover that on another CoHop update. Till then, hop growers, take care of yourself. Been Unclejona. Make sure you get on the Facebook group CoHop. Take care, guys. We'll see you for more hoppage real soon.